Everyone for being here. Happy Monday. Let's get started. I think I have an agenda right here for us. Let me try posting that in here. Okay. There it is. There's the agenda. If I guess I'll go ahead and share it as well, just so that you all have an opportunity to make comments, but I'm going to share it on the screen so you can see it and just follow along with me if you want. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, very small.
Yep. Is that better or need even, I'll make it even better, bigger, I guess. Let's see. How's that?
Better.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll start out with an agenda review, which we're doing right now. Then I'm going to do an opening statement, which has to do with this new category of digital artifacts, which is very relevant for what we're going to be doing with the meta layer task force. So after this statement, we'll go directly into the meta layer task force. I'll give an introduction to the tool. We'll talk about inscribed governance artifacts. That's what I was referring to earlier, and also uh, community governed entities. After that, I'd like to talk a little bit about the website. This is super quick. This may be 2 minutes. Uh, then roles that we're looking to fill. Got a nice list here, and we can talk a little bit. I just want to get an understanding about how we can get people more deeply engaged and get people taking on roles. So we'll have that conversation as well. And then I think finally, at the end or towards the end, I'd like to transition and talk a bit about Meta Layer Week. Let's get feedback from both attendees and present presenters. We can talk a little bit about what's moving forward with Meta Layer Week after that. Is there any burning thing that people feel like they would really want to see on the agenda? Going once, going twice, going. Okay, so all right. So I do have a little statement that I guess I'll just go ahead and read it. All right. For decades, open standards have shaped the internet. Yet the processes that created them have remained strangely fragile. Drafts expire, mailing lists disappear, context is lost, authorship blurs. The internet's most important coordination mechanisms often leave no durable trace of how consensus actually formed. By introducing public inscriptions into an IETF, that's Internet Engineering Task Force, inspired process, the Meta Layer Task Force changes this equation. And just for those of you who aren't or haven't been following along the whole time, we started a SIG, which is a special interest group, a meta layer infrastructure SIG, with the intention of sunsetting the SIG in 2 years to form the meta layer task force. And so the idea is that the SIG will build the foundational uh, ground for the meta layer task force. And that includes terminology, ontology, desirable properties, even code requirements and a code substrate, as well as potentially pilots. So yeah. Drafts and RCs are no longer just working documents. They become durable civic artifacts with verifiable provenance, time-stamped authorship, and independent persistence beyond any single institution. Governance is no longer something that merely happens. It is something that leaves a permanent record. The shift does not enclose knowledge or commodify standards. It preserves openness while restoring memory. It allows authors to retain sovereignty over their contributions while enabling communities to build shared legitimacy and public view. It ensures that future participants can see not only what was decided, but when, by whom, and in what context. Inscriptions turn governance from a disappearing act into a living archive. They transform standards from files into artifacts, from process into history, and from coordination into culture. This is not a replacement for the IETF tradition. It's the next evolutionary step. And uh, it's interesting. The one way that we might sum it up is to say we took the IETF model and added permanent public memory, turning drafts and RFCs into durable civic artifacts instead of disposable documents. I'm not going to go much more into that. I think that's fine for the moment. Does anyone have any questions about this? Does anyone does it make sense?
It's good. It's good. Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I would say
Anyone?
it's making sense. I'll probably read through it again myself, but it's making sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's get back to the agenda now. So we're going to go into the meta layer task force. And I already said that the SIG is building the foundation for this entity. This entity has an interface. It has a website. Oh, two people. Let me call a couple more people. Hold on 1 second. Let me let them in. Okay, great. Another person. Okay. All right. Awesome. So good to have you all here. Welcome. We are looking at the tooling for the meta layer task force. And the idea, right, is that we're going to, over the next 2 years, submit what are called drafts. These drafts will get comments, and after a certain period of, well, after we've got sufficient feedback and have developed a mechanism for it, we're going to move the drafts over to become what are called RFCs. Now, RFCs are requests for comment. And this is basically the system that the IETF does. When they are moved over to become a request for comment, they then get a lot of scrutiny, and everyone is who's interested is encouraged to weigh in comments. And after a certain period of time or a certain amount of activity, we will then decide as a group through rough consensus whether this particular RFC is approved and therefore becomes part of the meta layer corpus. If it doesn't get approved, then it will go into archive. It could be brought back in a different form, like make some tweaks and bring it back as a draft. But if it essentially it goes dormant if it doesn't pass the screening. Okay, let me let someone else in. See, we need a co-host. Can I give someone else co-host privileges so I don't have to be continuing to do this?
I can do
That
that
with
for you.
who was
Okay.
that?
This is Ying.
Oh, okay, great. Here we go. Thank you. All right. So here we are, meta layer task force. The three different items that we have up here are documents. So if you click documents, it's going to show you all the documents that are in the system. Right now, there are no documents because I actually removed the one that I had put up earlier. And the reason being, I had put it up as a PDF, and we've added new functionality that we've already talked about a little bit, this inscription functionality. And I assume that probably a lot of you may not be familiar with that. So I will talk more about that in a moment. Then we have this notion of working groups, and there are working groups for each of the desirable properties. You can also submit a draft. And since there are no documents, we're going to go ahead and submit a draft, the first draft, in fact. And it went ahead and just automatically authenticated me, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather you guys see the whole thing. So you can sign in. I'm going to come here and authenticate with Google, but I have a bunch of different options, right? You saw that I could do X, Facebook, Discord, Apple, GitHub, basically anything. And then you can also authenticate with a wallet. Could be MetaMask, or it could be any other wallet as well. Or I won't say any other, but I think they have about 400. You could also authenticate with an email or a phone number. If you put your email in here, it's going to send you an email. And when you confirm through clicking a link, it will then essentially give you access to this. So I'm going to go ahead just with Google because I want to use my MetaLayer account. And by the way, this authentication that we're talking about, where people are able to, why didn't that work? It was working earlier. Let's see. It's going to work. We're using Web3 auth, and we're going to be using this same tool or service or something similar like that with the Canopy application as well. So you'll have all these different options to log in. That's what federated login means, at least to me. One aspect of federated login. There's much more that's going to be coming out in DP1, but we want to submit a draft from that MetaLayer Gmail account. Now we could go ahead and submit it by uploading a file. So we would just essentially put in the name, the authors, the abstract. Then we could select a working group. We're not going to right now. And then we just go ahead and upload a file, which I'm not going to do because that's not the coolest thing you can do with this. It's actually much better, in my opinion, to use an ordinal. So what is an ordinal? If anyone knows and wants to give a definition, you're more than welcome. Okay. An ordinal is a digital artifact that's inscribed on Bitcoin. And the difference between a digital artifact and an NFT is that the Bitcoin ordinal inscription is entirely encapsulated on chain. It's entirely available on chain. That's different than NFTs because NFTs generally you simply have a pointer on chain that goes to the location of storage. And most of the time that would be IPFS, the Interplanetary File System, or it also could be Arweave, or it could be anywhere really. But most of them are on IPFS. And the issue with putting things on IPFS is if they do not maintain their pin status, then they could be lost. And there are many NFT collections that have had that happen. And so from my perspective, Bitcoin ordinals is far superior for a digital artifact because it will be on the Bitcoin chain forever. It's not only there permanently, immutably, but also they can be moved so you can effectively trade them. They can be bought and sold. So the holder of an ordinal can change. Well, what does an ordinal look like? You're probably asking, right? An ordinal can be any type of media. Most of the time, you're going to want to do text and maybe some smaller images because when you are inscribing something on Bitcoin, you're going to be paying for the amount of space that you use. And space is limited. Every block in Bitcoin can only have 4 megabytes. So you're competing for space. Now, as it turns out now, the the competition for space is not bad at all. In fact, it's super cheap to put things on Bitcoin ordinals. And the last time I did it, when I actually inscribed this particular one, it cost me about $2. So this is incredible, right? I mean, let me show you the inscription, in fact. I'm just going to go here to this other. Okay. So this is the inscription content. This is the entire content for the inscription, and you can see it says foundational governance practices. It's got a preamble in here. It's got a purpose, etc. And then the other thing to note about this is you might notice that there are some characters here. Does anyone know what that is? These funny characters? So this is Markdown, and Markdown is it's a language that makes it really easy and it's a very lightweight protocol for visualizing documents. These hash mark, that means this hash mark up here, maybe you can't see it, but it essentially means it's the top level title. And double asterisks means strong, so or bold. And now we can also look, oh, actually, let me go here. Okay, so I want to also show you actually the metadata behind these. So what you see here, it said, maybe you can't see it, but it says ordinals.com/inscription/ this really long combination of numbers and letters, which is a UUID. So it's a universal identifier for this particular inscription, and we call that the inscription ID. Now, I know you can't see it because I can't see it, but we'll make it a little bit bigger. So that doesn't even really help. It's still, but oh, okay, that's a little bit too big, maybe. Okay, so you can see here's the inscription ID. Here's the address of the holder. This is more or less the size that they record it as. And then here's the Satoshi. So this is the unit of record. This particular inscription is on top of a specific Satoshi. With a Satoshi is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. So every Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis in it, and you can inscribe as many inscriptions on top of a Satoshi as you want. And they just basically stack on top of each other. And there's a lot more to do with inscriptions, but we don't need to go any more depth with that. What all I want to do is copy this inscription ID, and then we're going to come back here. We've got it from Ordinal, so we're drafting a submission. So I'm just going to paste that in there, and then I'm going to go preview. And it shows me the foundational governance practices document. So you can see that the markdown has been converted to an actual, has been rendered in a way that it looks great, right? So we can also see the metadata down here. Here's the inscription ID. This is the inscription number. It's the 117,530,382nd inscription ever inscribed. So there's a lot, right? Over 117 million. Block height, this is the Bitcoin block height. This is when it was done. So it was done on January 23rd at 15:15 UTC. It's a plain text, and it was about a little bit more than 3 kilobytes. So let's go ahead and put in the title. So it's foundational governance practices. The author, in this case, it is the meta layer infrastructure SIG board. because the SIG board actually did take a look and comment on this draft. So here's the abstract. Pasting the abstract in here. And I'm going to agree to the terms. Not going to select a working group because our working groups are for desirable properties. And now we have a submission. So you can see here, it says submitted. It's got a submission ID. It was submitted today. This is UTC time. I suppose we should probably put that there. Actually, you know what? I would like to get the default that the user is using. We can use your default time zone. So we'll do that. Here's the abstract. Here's the inscription number again, which is clickable. It will take you to this site that we looked at before. So you can verify that this is available on Bitcoin. And we know it's going to be there for the next, whatever, over 100 years. I mean, I'm assuming that Bitcoin is going to stay around. And here's the content preview. So we can see exactly what we did. And here's the status. It's been submitted. It's waiting on an initial review. After that, there could be a working group review and then a meta layer steering group review. This is not for sure. We need to discuss this. We don't have a steering group yet. And we don't have a working group that's appropriate for this either. So these are some things that we can think about. At this time, my options, I could go ahead and submit another draft. I can look at all the documents. And by the way, if we go here, there's still no documents. Does anyone know why there are no documents? Guesses?
It hasn't been approved yet?
Well, there are no documents because there's been no documents approved. Am I able to do it? No, I'm not able to do it. So I'm going to go to the admin. Okay. I didn't want it to do that. So let me try logging out again. Oh, please stop. Okay. I'm going to start a private. I guess I might have to do a private window. I don't really want to do that. Let me just see if I can. This is annoying, but one more time, I'm going to try it. If not, this is not what happened last time, and I'm going to need to look into it. Okay. So it's not working. Okay. All right.
David, are
I'm
you
just
able
going
to hear?
So we're going to log in
David, are you able to hear?
on another account.
I don't think he can hear us.
Yeah.
rfc.themetalayer.org. So I'm in a private browser. I come here. I'm going to log in through my X account. Okay. Is there something wrong? I'm getting a call from FASA right now.
Yeah,
Is there something not working? Could someone speak up and let me know if there's like some problem with the stream? Can you all hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yes, we've been trying to tell you that. Yeah. You couldn't
I'm
hear us, and that's
I'm so sorry. Okay, got it. My bad. All right. Well, we're almost there. There's a lot of security. It just is, you know? So I got to put in my, okay, here we go. 828.
Hi, David. Hi, David.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm doing great. In the meantime, can you answer my question? I've posted a question in the chat.
Could you tell me?
The question is, can we
I'll look in the chat. Because I can't hear you. 1 second. Hold on. Can we inscribe different forms of data like code or images? No. I mean, yes, you can inscribe anything, and anything that's inscribed on Bitcoin, anything that's on Bitcoin already, then you can actually call it into your code. So it's actually it's amazing. It's beautiful. It's kind of a one of a kind thing out there. So I do an inscription. It could be a piece of code, it could be an image, it could be a piece of text. I can create a piece another inscription that's a piece of code that actually calls that and uses that. It could display the image, it could call a piece of code, it could display text as well. So it's very, very powerful. So let's see. So here we are now, and we're going to go to admin dashboard. And you can see here that it says there's one draft submission pending review. So I'm going to say review now. This is me as an admin. I come here and I say, okay, well, I kind of want to review this. So I look here. So it's got an ID. There's no group. It's the meta layer infrastructure SIG. We've got all this information. Here's the draft. Here's the content. So I can see it all, right? Well, that's enough for me to make a decision. Well, let me just go back. And I'm going to improve that. And now I go back to documents, and we've got ML draft 001. This is the first draft of the meta layer task force. And this is the most important one as well, because, once again, it's foundational governance practices. This document defines the initial governance practices of the meta layer infrastructure special interest group initiative focused on stewarding the interface layer above the web, where meaning it drawing from inspiration from the Internet Engineering Task Force while adapting its practices for interface level civic infrastructure. Now, if we go back to our other account, my other account, and I hit view all documents, it'll take a little bit of time, but because of my connection, but there it is. Okay, we got meta layer draft 001 as we saw it before, and anyone can then come and comment on it. But you can also follow it. You can look at the history. So you can also look at the revisions, because I can come back as the person who posted this. I can come back and add a new version. That new version can be an inscription or it can be a file. But the new version will essentially supersede this version whenever it happens. And if I want to comment, we can comment right here, or we can go to this particular page and add a comment. Okay, let Micah back in. All right, are there any questions about this tool?
Are you able to post a link?
Yeah, absolutely. It's live. Here's the link. And so you all are encouraged to make comments on this. Yep. There's some open questions. There's some things that we actually absolutely need to resolve. Like, how do we transition from a meta layer draft to a meta layer RFC? We need to decide that as a group. Super important. Someone else is in the menu. Okay. Adding people. Oh, actually, Ying can do that. I'll let her do those.
No, no worries.
All right, cool. So can anyone say anything about the significance of adding ordinals to this? They don't have that in IETF. And they don't actually have that for any other organization that I know in the world. I mean, they may, but I just haven't heard of anyone else using ordinals as the um, essentially the substrate for holding their governance such that anyone in the world can access the entire stream of drafts and RFCs that have ever been created and associated with this particular organization that we're building, the Meta Layer Task Force. So this is super, super for me, super significant because it's actually something I think Ying picked up on this when we talked about this on Saturday, that this could be done by any organization that wants to be built from the ground up by a community. Mike.
Yeah, I think it's exciting, and I don't know of any other example, but it hits some of your key points that I've heard you make before about having a stable shared record in sequence that's kind of provenance robust so that you know when something happened and how. For governance purposes, that feels like the gold standard, especially if, as we think, the Ordinals protocol is a good way to save data over time.
Yeah, the only risk that I see with ordinals is when quantum happens. And the question is whether the ordinals developers will be able to come up with a quantum resistant solution. Other than that, I see no issues other than the learning curve. And so obviously I want to be very clear at this moment to say that I personally recognize that it's really important that we make it very easy for people to do this. I see integrating the capability to create an ordinal within the tool as being the gold standard. At the moment, that isn't quite feasible. I mean, it is feasible if we had time or we had a developer that could work on it. I just need to focus on some other things, so I can't focus on building that capability in right now. But if this is successful and we're able to get traction on this, then I will be very motivated to build in that ease of use so that uh, inscriptions can be made by anyone just through walking through the process as if they were going to do a post. I mean, it may not be it's not going to be that simple, but it could be very simple. And the other thing I want to say is immediately, well, as soon as I can, I'm going to have some instructions. We already have a custom GPT that can walk you through the process. And in addition to that, I am working out the possibility for the meta layer initiative to essentially uh, do the inscriptions on the behalf of people if they want to essentially donate the value of the inscription to the meta layer initiative. And for people in less developed countries, I I am noodling on the idea that the meta layer initiative could inscribe for folks in those areas and receive and basically commit that if there is any money made off of these inscriptions, that that value, half of that value would go to the person who came up with the idea. So
Yeah.
that statement I just made, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's all exciting, and there are things like Arweave, our chains, where the cost of inscription includes a premium that's put in an investment pool that grows and then allows for further free inscriptions. But there, there could be some ways of engineering resources so that inscription is free.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we should be able to get a grant for it. I mean, this is really significant because it actually creates a new type of entity. And it's like a DAO. Remember how big DAOs got? Now, to be clear, in my opinion, DAOs did not deliver on what they said they were going to do or what people thought they were going to do. And that's okay. It's super early for the idea. I'm still very interested in the idea of DAOs. That said, DAOs got huge. This is another type of DAO. Like it's not actually, it's a little different than a DAO, but it's a type of organization that's very similar, yet it has a very different process. And it's particularly interesting because it allows the community to be involved with the structuring of governance from the absolute beginning. So we should be able to we should absolutely be able to get some funding for that. I mean, it's crazy if we wouldn't be able to do that. So, yeah, I think we should be able to finance those. So I opened up a can of worms when I said that, we would potentially, the meta layer initiative could inscribe for people and then make sure that they get 50% of the value. And I like what Mike is saying as well, because that is also another way of doing it. And I'm totally open to that. But this notion of value, and someone might say, what are you talking about? You think these are going to be worth something? And the short answer is yes, I do. But it's complete speculation at this point. There is no intrinsic value at the moment. However, I believe that the meta layers are going to happen. One way or another, it's going to happen. And if this process is involved in it happening, then the initial governance documents that are these initial, they're inscribed government artifacts, these first ones, they can be worth quite a bit. And I'm inclined to put this first one up for sale for a large amount of money. Just because, why not, right? And it it could be that this is a way for a foundation or a family office or someone else who wants to see this happen. They could buy that initial one as a way to essentially donate to us. And we could probably give them a tax deductible donation for that as well. And just, they make a donation, uh, we give them the tax deductible form, and we also, give them the artifact as well. So there's no value now, but I think there's going to be a value. And the ones that I do, I'm going to definitely make them into inscriptions. You don't have to, though. There's no obligation to make them inscriptions, not at all. But if you don't do it, someone else can. And that's how ordinals work. First is first. So the first person who inscribes this exact draft, that's the one who holds it. And so I I want to make ways for other people to do it. So we provide instructions for people to do on their own. We also offer to inscribe for people who want to make it a donation to the MetaLayer initiative. We also inscribe for people who want to have a revenue share on it. And the other thing that I'm willing to do, I'm just willing to do this. I'm willing to handhold, say 10 to 15 people through the process. Like they just want help and because they want to do this. Why? Because I want to see drafts get up on here. So I'm totally willing to do it. We've got a lot of different ways that we can move forward with it, but I think that's all I would like to talk about with respect to this tool, unless there's some additional questions. All right. Well, I'll take that as a no. All right. So I'm going back to the agenda. MetaLayer website update. So really quick, we changed everything from MetaLayer chapter to MetaLayer guild. So we are now thinking of ourselves as a guild. You are a guild member. You are a guild member. We're all guild members at the moment. Anyone who's coming on a regular basis is part of our guild. I don't know if we need any other procedures to facilitate that, but those can be developed if they're needed. The SIG still persists, the metal layer infrastructure SIG. We need to decide where we're going to go with that because it hasn't been very active lately, other than people coming to these meetings, but we haven't been specifically focused on SIG work. SIG work is the encouraging of others to submit drafts and to make comments on drafts, as well as the submitting of drafts and making comments yourself. So that is pretty much what the SIG will do, and it holds working groups. And so for each of the desirable properties, there'll be a working group that would look at the relevant drafts and make some judgment on them. Maybe that's how we decide whether they get moved from draft to RFC. We need to decide that as a guild though, or really as a through this governance process, this artifact-based governance process. In the last meeting, Prince had a great question, like, how are we going to get people engaged, get them assigned to roles so that we can do a lot more than we can with me doing, kind of holding most of the work, which is not great, right? It needs to really spread out. And I know that, all of us probably we are very busy and certainly can't take on full-time roles, but I'm imagining these to be part-time roles and hoping that people will be super excited about taking on some of these. This is not an exhaustive list, but it's a good start. So some of the
Are
things that
you
we need help
are
with.
you sharing
Uh-huh.
screen right now?
Oh, I guess I'm not. You're right. Let me go ahead and put these on the screen. Thank you. And Fasa, thanks for that call earlier. That's what got me to actually figure it out was because you called. Well, this is
Yeah.
strange. Why is he calling
Well,
me?
well,
He was on the call.
for the record, and it's recorded, but like Sarah responded to why to your question about why it hadn't posted yet, and it was because it wasn't approved yet. And so I was like, oh, he didn't respond to that, and that kind of led to that. So
Oh, cool. Nice. So at least you guys could hear me a little bit. I didn't know. All
absolutely.
right. All right, awesome. Well, that's better. So here are the roles that I'm talking about that I think would be really helpful for us to get filled sometime soon. So team builder, we could use more than that, more than one. Couple minds working with me, and yeah, we'll knock it out. Some onboarding specialists. It'd be great to have one per region, an operations person, just to help make sure that everything's flowing, someone who's got that marketing hat, just to kind of take an overview look at how we're presenting this material and making sure that it's speaking to the time. We need different people helping with our social presence, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, X, and YouTube. YouTube Manager, for example, would take a video like the video that we're doing today, clean it up a little bit at the front, the end, and just post it. And that would mean that I wouldn't have to do it because we have someone who's specializing in that. They would also, as the content creators, because we need content creation as well, if they created videos, they'd get support from the YouTube manager as well to get those up there. And they'd basically monitor our channel and come up with ideas to make it stronger. Business development and also organizer of the design challenge. I've been having some conversations with a number of people, and the design challenge, the breaking out of silos design challenge that we piloted earlier. Well, I guess it was last week, mid last week. It has legs. People can see how that could evolve into something that's really exciting for people and that could be brought to schools, colleges, organizations, corporations, etc., as a way for them to learn about the meta layer, to learn about augmented learning, to dip their toes into our world. And my inclination is to make this design challenge, the breaking out of silos design challenge, essentially a design challenge theme for the rest of the year. And I'm going to be looking into places we could put it. You are all welcome to look for places that it could happen to as well. And it's possible that we could charge organizations for this. So I think we could, set up a program where if someone had an organization and they wanted to pay several $1,000s for a design challenge or whatever someone can negotiate, maybe they get, a third of that or something like that, the person who actually brought it in. We can talk about that, but the point here is that I would love some support for someone who's excited about the design challenge in a way that would allow this to actually become something really, really interesting
But
and very polished.
I would say definitely interested in supporting in that capacity. I did put in a chat like content creation is something I think like different designs and stuff like that all the way across board from the ordinal from ordinal and ML001 all the way through the design challenges. I think there's opportunities to assist with visuals that help to tell the story. So we're definitely 2 feet in, 10 toes down on supporting in that capacity. And we have some relationships and stuff with other people that we might be able to tie into this work that would be able to support in that capacity. I also think that the work that Micah did on the initial flyer work and stuff like that for the design challenge was amazing. And so being able to collaborate with him and the work that he's been doing would be great too. We had a great call. So I'll add that. And yeah.
You make a good point. I think we should have basically a designer in here, and certainly Micah has done a great job with the flyers for the design challenge. And we'd love, I'm just gonna put your name here, Micah. I hope that's okay. We're in touch, so let me know if that doesn't work, but I'm gonna put it in there now. Or you can speak up.
He's sending claps. He's sending that those hands are he's down. He said he's with it.
Okay, yeah, okay. Compensation. We don't have any money right now, obviously, but I think down the road these can be compensated, and as we tokenize the people, we will keep track of who has taken on roles and for kind of, I guess, what time period, et cetera. And we will, to the extent that some aspects of this project get tokenized, and it may not be directly the meta layer initiative because that actually needs to stay just as a nonprofit org, standards body without any tokenizing efforts associated, um, like embedded into it. But that doesn't mean that the meta layer initiative cannot associate with projects that are tokenized that are directly related to the meta layer. And one of those is the Overweb project, which really the Overweb is what I'm seeing the meta layer initiative as sparking. Um, the Overweb will be its own community-based organization with community-defined governance. However, I think that we can use this same tool potentially for getting down to the specific, meaning the RFC tool, the tool that I just showed you for the task force. I believe that we can include the overweb as one of the like a focus of that, and it has a specific working group, and it might have its own steering group, but it essentially could probably use the same infrastructure in the same context. Maybe everything meta layer, not just the meta layer task force, but anything that's truly meta layer could potentially leverage this infrastructure that we're building. And we need to again figure out what we're doing with this meta layer infrastructure SIG. Thank you, Jack. But what I've noticed is the the board is not active. There's not active meetings happening, and some of the people, I think a number of the people who are on the board are not active at the moment. I'm not sure why that is. I know that some of it has to do with personal situations. I don't know if that's for all of them, but the thing to note is that we could reconstitute that and have that board be active, and it would help oversee the the process, this governance by community process that we're doing. Any other people who want to put their hand up for a specific role at this moment? Don't everyone put up your hands at the same time, please. One at a time. All right. Once,
Hi,
twice,
David.
thrice. Okay. Hey, who's that?
Micah. I
Micah.
think
Hey,
I can
Micah.
also do the YouTube manager. I can try and edit these recordings, and maybe later on we can update them. Yeah, great.
Awesome. Thank you, my friend. We
Yeah, you're
appreciate that.
welcome.
We'll communicate after the session
Sure.
about that. Awesome. Going once? Anyone? Twice? Okay, we're off to the next. So
I will
meta
say
layer
for
week.
me, I'm sorry, this is
Uh-huh.
Sarah. I will say that for me, it's going to be useful to rewatch. Given that we don't have anything written, it's going to be helpful for me to rewatch that portion to really like take in what's needed to then come back, loop back around with like where we can fit in. That's for me
Okay.
the way I processing.
Well, awesome.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that, there's 4 or 5 people that said, "Oh, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say too." I really hope so. And they don't need to say it now. But all right, so meta layer week feedback. Anyone have any feedback on any of the events that we've had so far? We had design challenge, the augmented learning workshop, which was co-led by me and Ning, and then the AI Noosphere workshop, which was me and Dee, and then the open draft lab that Kareem and I did on Saturday.
I would just comment, I was a part of the design challenge work where Jack led the discussion. I helped co-lead some of the discussion for our group around like a spiral, the research spiral, I think case and point sort of thing. And it was just a really rich discussion to be able to talk about this work and with other people. We had really great feedback. Everybody exchanged information and stuff. So being at this level with it and having an opportunity to see that it translates to people that haven't heard it before after being in these meetings and that they were extremely interested, like just and when we broke out into groups, I think that was the biggest thing. There were these different topics, and then when we all came together with our unique opinions of what took place and happened, we actually had something there, which felt like a community of people that were interested in what we are talking about. So that's why I'm excited about this work. That's why I'm obviously able to feel comfortable about engaging with my time because I can tell that even with just a little bit of lift, a little bit of support and everything, that I think it can be off to the races with it as well. So I'm excited about it, and the design challenge was dope for me. I didn't get a chance to catch all of it. I did catch the AI Noosphere as well, which was pretty cool. I think it was great to hear about AI and how people were looking at what is pretty much the predominant technology that's out there that's getting the core investment and the core infrastructural implementation added to it. It's driving everything. So being able to hear how AI could be used in this space and how we're thinking about collective intelligence in this space and stuff from people that were both familiar and unfamiliar with the work was dope. It was really cool. And I think the last day was just, really getting familiar with the inscription aspect of what ordinals are. So had a little bit of a head start on this meeting, have an opportunity to be present there. So if anything, I would just say as a whole, the learning event was great because it was like kind of like a brief, I coined this from, not coined it, but I'm borrowing this term from somebody else that we were working with who said that it's like a brief educational experience, is what it felt like, on the meta layer stuff. And it was really dope to, uh, yeah, to just have that information and to have that context and to be able to share it with people that were familiar and not in one place. So hopefully we can continue to do other events and stuff that are like that with more space to be able to, really be able to help and support more. I think it could have been even a bigger turnout, but I think it was great with where it was at as a first time through. That's my wrap up.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, totally appreciate you showing up so strong. And yeah, that's really actually great feedback to hear. Would you concur that you see potential in making this something that we can do for the entire year and offer to many different people and well, different organizations, et cetera?
Yeah, I think that the theme, like being able to have a theme around them all and then being able to, yeah, I think that's what grounds yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think it's necessary. And the fact that it won't be a bunch of random events, but that you've been in search of and really trying to identify like a theme. I think the escape rooms, like, I think that's a really big thing. And initially it was like it's a little bit nebulous at the very beginning of what you were saying, but then when we got into the working groups or into the breakout sessions, it all kind of made sense. And so I think that's where I feel like if the visuals were there and with more coordination and stuff amongst a team of people and not just either yourself or Prince or somebody like one individual trying to do a lot, if everybody is collectively, because we're talking about a collective layer of the web and a collective intelligence of the web, then we have to collectively be able to work together. I think that like anything ends up flying, if especially something that like doing these events in a more consistent way over the year, for sure.
Well, thank you. Does anyone else who's either participated a presenter or a participant have any feedback on any of the events?
I'm simply going to endorse what Faza said. I think he painted the picture just right.
Well, thank you, Jack. Jack, do you want to do an event on Friday, this Friday on
Uh,
Sensecraft?
give me a second. This Friday. Uh, yeah, I could.
Okay. And you'll reach out to some of your compadres?
Yeah, I actually shared what I'm going to do with Ward Cunningham's FedWiki tribe on the Matrix. I don't know how many people here are aware of the fact that the concept of a wiki was invented by Ward Cunningham. Um, and it changed the web completely. The idea in the old days was you would write something in some sort of a text editor or whatever on your desktop, and then you would FTP it up to some place on the web and then enable it to be shown to the public. That's how the web was built. Um, in a wiki, you just put what are called wiki links in, and that just creates another page. Click on it, and bam, it's there. Maybe it's empty, but it's there. And it was the basis for Wikipedia. And what Ward decided was we can do federations of wikis, but they shouldn't be as big and huge and fat and complex as Wikipedia. So he decided to invent the world's smallest wiki, and he called it now the Federated Wiki. And it's I suggest you Google Federated Wiki, and you'll go to one and be prepared to be amazed.
All right. And yeah, definitely, I think that'd be a great group to share it with. And if you could share it with PCI as well, because I'm always posting on PCI, they don't pay any attention to me. They don't. So if you could do it, then I
Hey,
will back you up and say, oh yeah, I'm super excited for your talk.
we're being recorded, so I really can't respond honestly about that. But
Okay, okay. All right. Well, we can talk offline about that.
yeah.
It's all good.
Um,
Uh, yeah, and certainly Jack and I will appreciate all of your help in doing, getting some people there on Friday. For Friday, Micah, if you could help with a flyer, that would be great. Jack, we need to get a flyer done by tomorrow. And Micah's got a hands up. So, Jack, if you could start thinking about just like wording and maybe what an image might look like, and we can get that to Micah as soon as possible, that'd be great. And I will go ahead and make the event once we get all that together.
so if I have Micah's email address, what I can do is send him the link to my slides. I don't want to. I ordinarily I would just simply put them right here in the chat room, and then everybody would see them. But I kind of want some of what I'm going to say to be a surprise. So I did share them with David and Ying, and I'll share them with Mika, and he can just take basically the front page, the landing slide, and use that as an image.
Okay.
And fundamentally, all right, good. I'm going to copy that link, and then I will make an email. Um,
Perfect.
the thing is that I'm only giving my view.
Yeah, that's what we're expecting. It's all good. I think no explanation necessary. If you could also just include like an event description, just one paragraph, that'd be really helpful. And I think we're good.
All right, I'll add that in the email.
Perfect. And
And thank
copy
you,
me on
Micah,
it,
for
please.
picking this up. This is good.
Awesome. All right. Does anyone else have any feedback on Meta Layer Week?
I do. I just want to add one other thing because I think that with everybody wanting to be able to support in the different ways that they would want to support, like what just took place, I just heard a new event kind of pop up. And so I think that creating design language around like if something is a pop-up Meta Layer event versus if something is an actual coordinated event in which we're looking for the participation of everybody to be involved. So there's a certain amount of lead time ahead of it and everything else as well, I think would be really good as well. So like a pop-up event may be the type of information that is being shared is stuff that's already been established, maybe somebody that is actually hosting that event, like Jack is hosting an event, would be a part of steering what aspects of the content are going to be shared in that event. But just thinking about how to, because this group is being brought together and there's a limited amount of time and resources and stuff, how we can be most effective in those situations. Like there's a group that might want to attend Jack's event and stuff, and there's some people that might not be able to. But just thinking about from a coordinated standpoint, how we could be most effective in that way, and just discerning the differences between the types of events that are popping up immediately that might require support from a design standpoint or, from anybody that's helping or agreeing to support versus an event that, hey, we've had this on the calendar for about a month and, there's certain expectations around what would be brought together in terms of content and what just it'll be, I think, easy for us to not looking for easy, but I think just more efficient for us to be able to collaborate as well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just added events manager to the roles. So, maybe if someone comes on as an event manager, then they can start thinking a couple months in advance. Um, I'm just, I'm totally open and happy to continue on this role that we have as long as we're getting 15 to 20 people show up and we're presenting new ideas and we're recording it. I'm happy to do events that actually push the envelope and help us all learn together on what this meta layer is, because no one knows exactly what it is, right? I mean, it's way too vast for any one person to really get it, and I certainly don't. So I think if we can uh, continue. If there are other things that people want to talk about in this series, then I'm willing to do it. So the next day open would be next Saturday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, following that. That's also possible as well. So if anyone wants to do it, then yeah, just get in touch with me and I'm happy to co-host something.
One last thought. The moment I have a link to the announcement, I will post it on all of my major email lists. And some of them are pretty large, and it will include PCI.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. And I will, when I, anything that I see, I'll comment on as well. And I hope, yeah, some of the rest of you will also help push it out a little bit, even if it's just like, comment, and share on LinkedIn. That's really helpful. We've got people coming to some of these events coming through channels like that. So any help is super appreciated. And yeah, when I say comment, yeah, just put a question in there. And if you can't think of a question, put the thing in ChatGPT and say, give me a question or give me 5 questions or whatever. But put a question or put a provocative comment. Yeah, take a moment to do that. I'll do my best to reply to them, and I hope other people will reply to them as well. All right. Any other feedback from anyone else who was involved in these MetaLayer Week events or who attended one?
Yeah, I just want to quickly say, I feel the whole experience is kind of exemplary of how collective learning can happen and should happen. So, whatever the platform we're going to build or practice we're going to build, I think this group itself can benefit from using it and promoting it and evolving it. Yeah,
Well,
that's all kind of.
awesome, Ying. I wanted to just bring up something that I had thought about earlier, and it's relevant to the tooling we build around the RFC process. And I think you also might have mentioned the possibility of using hypothesis for
Mhm.
the comments.
Yeah,
I'm really interested in that, and I'm inclined for us to try that out. What do you think?
we
Thanks,
could.
Mike. Good to see you.
we could. I think if we have a theme, we have a specific thing we wanted to learn more about, and then we gather around that, everybody um, searching for and digesting what has been done before and having some dialogues and sharing what they learned. And that could be useful for people who come in later to find out how certain ideas evolved.
Well, yeah, and I'm specifically talking about the meta layer drafts, like
Mm.
the draft that
Oh,
we were just looking at in
oh,
that tool.
oh, if just about draft, we definitely can use a hypothesis. We can just invite everybody to start commenting using hypothesis. But then are you going to do the commenting and the hypothesis in parallel, or are you going to not using the inherent commenting and encourage people to use hypothesis? You
I'm
want.
open. I think maybe initially we leave them both there and then just, I think having a contrasted experience would
Okay,
be really interesting.
okay, we can try that, and definitely. Uh, if you need I think I have a hypothesis kind of one-page tutorial. I don't remember if I sent it to you or not. Otherwise, happy to send it to you, whoever, or I'm happy to give a tutorial to anybody who's interested using hypothesis.
Well, I think it would be great if you posted both the tutorial and the video that you took with Joe, the
Oh,
CEO of
okay.
Hypothesis. You want to
Okay.
tell people a little bit about what you learned or any reflections from that conversation?
Let me think. Yeah, I think it's a very useful tool, and currently the largest market that they're using it is in education, and they have yeah they're working with I think I forgot a number like
Why
400.
don't you, could you presence what it is, just in case there's anyone in here who doesn't know what it is?
Okay. My understanding of I think Jack is a better person to say that, but I'll give it a try. And so it is a platform that was developed uh, that's meant for people to use it kind of on the top of documentation scattered around the internet, where you can comment, you can so if you have a hypothesis account, you can add your comment, add annotations. That's what you and you can add annotations. You can add tags to content that you find on the internet, and you can use it as a personal learning tool by posting your annotation privately to yourself, or you can post it publicly. If you post it to yourself, then you can w tag it to your account. You'll have all these notes, annotations associated with different pieces of information, PDF files, or just text on the internet that will you can see all your annotation in one place. And if you do it publicly, then you other people can see your annotation. And if you look at one specific document, you will see if people who used it posted publicly, then you will see everybody who has commented or annotated on that document. Um, yeah, I think those are the main things. And you can create private groups to comment on specific document. So this is the open layer where anybody can sign up for free to do that. They also have then they have two specific offerings, and that has a fee to it. One is for publishing companies if they want people to organize their annotation around the book, around a particular publication, you can create groups to do that. So everything will be contained associated with that particular publication. And in colleges, their offering is to they have the hypothesis being part of the learning management system. So the students and the professors can give assignments to students while working on certain topics, and the students can use hypothesis to annotate their thoughts and their opinions about a particular topic associated with particular documents. Yeah, so these are I think the use cases right now that I understand it. And Jack has introduced a group that has been commenting on materials that's related to Douglas Engelbart, and that was like an amazing application of hypothesis. If you find one annotation, you can pretty much just follow the kind of the trail to find a lot of other related documents and the commentary or annotation people have done before. Does that
Awesome.
help? Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's really helpful. What would have been more helpful is if I had pulled up hypothesis while you were talking, but I didn't think of it. My bad. I do want to point out something that's in the video, and I encourage everybody to watch the video that Ying is going to post. I thought it
Where
was
do you
really
want me to
interesting.
post? Where do you want
Oh,
me?
if you could post it to the Signal or are you in the WhatsApp group or the Signal group? I think you're in the Signal one, right? I can't remember.
Yeah. I can
Yeah,
post
if
it.
you could post it, that'd be
Yeah.
great. And I'll post it over to the WhatsApp group if other people might
Okay.
want to see it as well.
Okay.
The thing that I thought was interesting is Joe, the CEO, was saying that they're finding this giving assignments through social annotation is a way to kind of sidestep the problem with people doing all their assignments in AI. And I can't remember exactly how it prevents that, but
Oh,
it
it's not prevent, it's because now everything is in the public. So they kind of self-monitoring each other or if you just it's not that preventing of using AI, but to use it the right way, not to just ask AI and get the answer and post it. Uh, because if people can see it because you're in a peer group. So how you're using it, how you derived your answers, other students can see and they can comment on it. So there is a like constraints within the group or monitoring mechanism. Something
got
along
it.
those lines, yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Ying. I really
Mhm.
appreciate
Yeah.
your support with that, and it's definitely opened up the idea of adding it to our platform. So great. Next up, Nada.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes. Where are you calling in from?
Yeah, I'm from Lebanon,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah, you were
yeah,
the other day.
and I got to know about all of these great things and you all great people from Internet Society Lebanon chapter.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to take advantage of what was going on in this meeting and the previous sessions we attended, but like unfortunately, I was not very well focused in all of the sessions because we were interrupted with something else in parallel. But I hope if you can send the recordings if possible, so we go through them more because also we can provide support and we are very interested in what's going on. And I don't know if this is useful if I say like I'm researching women in AI in my PhD in Spain. And another thing is that I'm a university lecturer, so I have access to faculty at university, to university students from different majors. Um, also, another thing is that I also work in community service with nonprofits, supporting vulnerable people, and empowering youth and women. So this is in general, I don't know, like in terms of maybe some audience to really what you all have from knowledge and experience makes me bend my head and take my hat off with what I hear. So we have to make more and more people get advantage of your experience and knowledge and share it with everyone. So wherever you find we are useful at, so please let us know. And we're so happy you allowed us to join. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. You just made my day. No. So good to hear from you and just hear your openness to collaboration and that you see what we see. Love to hear that. And can you tell me what field of study that you teach?
Management information systems. So it is between computer science and business.
Okay, awesome. Well, I would love to just have a conversation with you sometime offline, just because it seems like there's a lot of opportunity, especially since you're a professor and also you're involved with ISOC Lebanon. We're looking to start working groups in other chapters, meta layer working groups. Not really active with it just this moment, but it's something that's been building for the last several weeks since we decided, since not decided, but since we found out that we weren't able to have our own meta layer chapter. But yeah, well, welcome. We're so glad you're here, and let's build upon that.
Thank you so much. And I will leave you my email address in the chat.
Okay, looking for it. Uh, Anyone else have any feedback or thoughts on Meta Layer Week? Okay, well, we're coming up on time. We do have a session tomorrow. It's going to be on Canopy. Uh, I'm not sure how big it is going to be. Not really worried about it. I'm not where I really wanted to be with showing you the tool, like have it working perfectly and everything. And it's not quite there yet, but we're still going to do some demo. I'm not sure which tool it will be, but we're going to demo some tools and we're going to talk about Canopy and where Canopy is headed. I think it's going to be super excited. I'm not invested in this being a huge event. I want it to be kind of an event with people like yourself who understand a little bit about where we're at or who understand a lot about where we're at and can give feedback as to the direction of this tool. All right. Anyone else have anything to say before we leave?
Same time,
Going.
same place.
Yep, same time, same place. Exactly.
I'm going to try and be there.
Awesome. Look forward to seeing you, Jack. All right, everyone. If you want to take yourself off mute and say goodbye, you're more than welcome. And I'm going to just say go Meta.
Bye, go Meta.
See you,
Go
everyone.
Meta.
All right. Take care, everyone.